he doesn't seem to be as influential a lot of rounds as, say, Valkyrie, Azami, and Nook.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll change now that we don't see LMGs anymore, we don't really see Finka anymore. There's been more variance in the attacking meta.
That there has. You just have more freedom. You spoke about what, like, you can bring IQ
Oh God,
now.
you said that where Americans love that.
So what?
Freedom.
God. I do love that word. Freedom, though, is in the menu for sure, because flexibility is now more available. I mean, we see Moan on the Bandit. Even that isn't super common. Most teams that go for more roaming-style operators. Of course, we got Kento on the Alibi. We got Benji on the Capcan. They could be flying across the board here. It's a little bit melted on the Oryx. On the attacking side, pretty standard stuff. We said Twitch is back on the menu. She's indeed being played right now by Iconic. You gotta bring the sledge, gotta get the nades, the soft destruction setter, and you gotta bring at least one piece of Harper's utility. That's gonna be Forest on the ace right now. Then the freedom comes around because J9O has the freedom to choose Sophia plus anything else if you would like to change it up. And DP Fire, same story, opposite the Dokebi. Normally, like the Dokebi, the Lion, or the Nurk would be like in that slot where DP Fire is playing. Because two of those three are banned out, Dokebi is next. Then you get the secondary EMPs, you get a good roam clearing gadget, and you still have a decent gun with the DMR, assume that you like the DMR at least, and you bring in a lot of different pieces of utility, which we love to see. It's going to be a east-oriented roam clear, where one member of Astralis is going to be clearing from the west to kind of cut the pieces together. Fast injury inside Cafe, but no real roamers from Mirage are nearby to stop him.
Oh, first pick goes to Dexter. J9O's entry not proving to be quite so successful. Dexter trades out a lot of HP for it, but very much worthwhile.
Oh.
This roam for Mirage paying off already. Only 45 seconds in, and all three entry players from Astralis have perished, losing engagement after engagement after engagement. And yeah, the similar story to Dexter, both Melted and Kento exchanged a portion of their HP for a kill, but very much worth it. Sledge and Twitch are the last two remaining. And it's Shuttle and Iconic, both players that can do a considerable amount of damage. But with the lead that's been built up by Mirage in terms of numbers, this is going to be a heady task.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. I imagine the Mirage are all on the bomb site now, just vibing around, or at least most of them are establishing crossfires somewhere on the map, if not on the site itself. I mean, Shuttle can take his time, so can Iconic, and just kind of clear every corner manually, because there's not going to be a whole lot of drones on the map for them to use. Of course, Iconic does have those Twitch drones available, but you got to be droning for yourself. That's really it. Yellow pings come out, and a little bit of an angle gets opened up from Shuttle. Might see the toes of the Capcan, but no real damage gets done. Actually, no damage at all. Minute and 10 to go. Mirage with the aggression early on. I said there was nobody there to stop J9 on the entry, but Dexter flew up that staircase and just took the fight right then and there. Nate's going out. Iconic's on the side, and he's gone for the world because Captain Trap is there on the doorway.
As the Bandit of Mohesi melted in on it too. A flawless round to start things off. Mirage, what a tempo that they want to set for this match.
That is a pace indeed. I don't think every round is going to be that fast because, I mean, if anything, Astralis should slow down their momentum and just kind of take a more chill approach, you know, drone out or drone in the entries rather, maybe put a duo on J9O so not alone on the Cafe side, make that a little bit easier for them to deal with. But either way, second round on the way. We started in Armory, we're going to Bunks up next. Aubrey lineup looking very similar, identical in fact for the side of Astralis. Whereas on the defensive side, well, we're getting kind of a different vibe here. 3 different deployable shields from the Frost, the Warden, and the Smoke, followed by 1 mine to protect those shields and a Legion to stop people from walking those staircases with those pesky goo mines.
Well, operator repick very much available, but not being used by Astralis. Almost a team ace. Benji was the only one who was unable to secure a kill. Melted stole that one. But that's okay. No honor among thieves, I suppose. Final seconds, we do see some repicks coming in. J9O off of the Zofia onto Flores, Iconic onto Osa.
Osa getting brought out here again. More EMPs, and you see DP Fire going onto smoke grenades instead, because we don't really need 4 EMPs necessarily on this side. Also, there's no real Warden Eye being brought out from Mirage. No Mute to force the EMPs, no Mo on Bandit to stop the walls from being opened up. In fact, they are playing it more extended out. They're playing 1 room over, as you can tell, with a deployable shield covering the rotate and the rotation into the bomb site behind them. So we don't need the Walden Eye in this case. Astralis got to fight tooth and nail for every single inch of the map, because the moment they drop security hatch and walk in towards security, they'll be fighting members of Mirage. Mo, aggressive as well in cash bathroom. Here's a drone. Waits it out, goes to the swing, no one is there. It's always a min-max game right now of when do I play aggressive, when do I play passive, because if you die early, that's not good. A risky peek, but he gets out alive.
Risky peaks being the story of most of the games so far today. We've seen engagements go often unnecessarily. There's the very first pick on a DP Fire. Mirage yet again. Oh. Defanging this entry that we see from the attackers. Iconic is next one up. They'll be able to set up the Talon Shield, but a nice shot by Dexter will pick apart Forest. And an impact now as well will down Iconic. What is going on here? Yeah. Astralis are so sloppy on this entry, and Mirage are perfect to answer them.
Sloppy was the word I was going to use because, yeah, Iconic got double impacted from full HP to injured, and the member behind him of DP Fire also took a fair bit of damage as well. Very sloppy indeed, and Astralis, they've kind of lost their claws here. They're not even shooting back at this moment. I mean, their one shot goes out, but no kill to confirm. Diffuser down on the ground, and it's Shuttle and J9O against 5 members for the second round in a row. The first was flawless. Can the second one be that as well? We'll have to wait and see. Which air drones being used for information, might get the shield, 2 nades for Shuttle as well, and Dexter can now peel back or stay around as he does typically.
Oh, so little damage being done to Mirage in this particular point. Dexter still holding it down. A nade will sail on over, but he engages J9O the wrong way. Both players from Astralis taking damage. Still upright, though. Numbers so soundly favoring Mirage into a 4v2. Diffuser's been juggled. It was Shuttle who held onto it, but it's J9O's time to cover. He's got more HP. There's a smoke on the board. Mohesi has one of those toxic canisters left. It's just been thrown out. And now he is just all firepower on yellow stairs, where Shuttle will make his attempt. And there goes a grenade caught by a magnet, maybe bait them out. Shuttle continues to walk upwards, looks the wrong way, shotgun in hand, and it's J9O to do nothing. Frankly, it's the SMG-11 in the hands of Smoke that claim that kill, and Mirage is up 2-0. And it was almost reminiscent of what we've seen of Astralis before. This is a very flexible team on Astralis. They've got a lot of weapons at their disposal when they decide to get into the building. Any of them can kill you, whether it's Forest taking charge, Iconic taking charge, etc. But they've looked feckless. They've looked so weak. And yeah, sloppy was the word that I used, and I think we can come back to it as well. Because Mirage are just, they're prepared for the entry points from Astralis, and they punish them so well that Astralis look completely lost. And then through the mid-round, when you've already lost all these players, how do you correct that to try and make the most of it being a 2v5? As helpless as you find yourself in that situation, there is still potential for a comeback if your opponents play it wrong. The big difference is Mirage hasn't played either of those rounds wrong.
No, you're right. And the thing is, both of these teams played Theme Park yesterday, which means both teams had the benefit of watching the other team and how they play it. They can both prepare for one another. Right now, it's very one-sided into who seems to be more prepared for it, because Astralis, again, yeah, not playing the cards the way we expect them to so far. Round 3 is underway, and of course that tactical timeout does favor them. Okay. So does the first opening kill from Forest. Mo getting way too aggressive once again. This time does not get out with his life. He will lose it. That's the site, J9O.
Yeah, now look at that. J9O's in the midst of the site, but Mirage is cleaning out those intruders, those pesky, pesky intruders from Astralis. 45 seconds left, and Candela primed and ready. J9O will follow it up, but they've scattered. Mirage cannot be found, and J9O is fighting shadows in the midst of the bomb site. So we'll give time for the Mirage players to get back in to try and help. But you need some supporting cast. J9O cannot do this all by himself. Iconic takes down Dexter. Numbers are now even again. Iconic also holds onto the diffuser and will start to get it planted while they watch. J9O sees the Jaeger for a second. Iconic successful in getting it down as a logic bomb goes off, but he's going to be collapsed upon and downed. He's totally blind, but the sight control seems to be theirs for now. It's upstairs where they need to look. Let's Shuttle in the position above. Can he be found? The Jaeger tries to come back. Iconic easily handles that one. The 2 remaining players from Mirage, all on top of the case, but Iconic is the king for a reason, and he's proving to everybody why he's the one that has the crown. Melted in a 1v2, still winnable, very low HP. He'll attempt to bait them out. Iconic creeping up, but he doesn't hear it at all. Astralis take their time out and bounce back. They get the first pick, they get the diffuser down, they clean through the site, and they also get their first round.
That was one of the most awkward rounds of Rainbow Six Siege I've seen in a long time, because J9 was on the bomb side for a literal minute where nothing really happened. He throws on Cadilla, Dexter runs away. He throws another one, Dexter runs to the other corner. It was iconic when he arrived at the bomb side, got the wallbang initial opening onto Dexter, then got 3 kills after that snap right there. Beautiful. Into the pistol kill in the 1v2 with his other member ready for the trade if anything needed to be done there for the post-plant situation. Job well done for Astralis, but it's again Mo kind of giving them that opening by swinging unnecessarily on what, sure, not the strongest bomb set itself off lab, but you're just taking this massive gamble against an Astralis who just called the tactical timer, who might be prepared for these kind of shenanigans to happen, and that they were. Attacker repicks happening right now from the side of Astralis as they have found the bomb set of Armory. They're gonna go through the motions here. What do they think they need? Well, they need better guns, more destruction, and more roam clear right now, so that appears to be. As the Ying is gone, and so is the Zero. These are more passive or execution-based or information-based operators. They need something else. Dugabi, Sophia, and Ace will be instead. And Mirage, exact same setup as the first round where we saw this bomb site.
Well, that was more of the formidable entry that we talked about from Astralis that we've seen before that has been absent from those first 2 rounds. And yeah, I think confusing is correct. The Ying was unpunished for so long that they seemed to know that the Ying was in there, and J9 was just allowed to exist.
It was. J9, like, kudos, played it very patiently, understood that he wasn't really under fire, wasn't under pressure, but he was still applying so much by being on the bomb side, just waited for his teammates to arrive. And they work it out together. And that's the Astralis that we know and love. The team that plays so coordinately together, time and time again. TB Fire has the right idea, but no drop happens in the hatch.
I don't know if that initial drone actually missed the
timing?
Oh no, the alibi. What? You gotta capitalize off of this. Mohesi wins it. DP Fire's a little bit too slow. They're around Dragon. This is what I was talking about, the alibi of Kento. He had a good idea that somebody's up there. The hatch is open. It's a safe bet that there's someone playing inside a cache. But I think the drone might have actually missed. There's stuns going in. Kento here is primed and ready, but he's going to get swung from the window. Yep, it does indeed look like missed drone work. Kento's pushed from 2 separate angles. There's another there. He doesn't expect that half of Astralis are still sitting out on that cache balk. And J9 gets the final kill that is needed to secure that part of the map. Astralis still trail in numbers. Half of the round has been gone. And they're still doing some discovery work right now.
Yeah, I mean, he got the kill he wanted for Kento, that is. He got the 1-for-1 trade, but now because he's dead, his phone has dropped on the ground. That can then be picked up and hacked by Tokyo AP, which has now been done. The thing is, there's no real information on the board. No cameras on the side of the defenders, no Echo, no Valkyrie, no Maestro, no the bulletproof cameras either, so just defaults will be hacked here. Melted still roaming around the top floor, looking for more. Dexter instead of finds the side of Shuttle, but Forrest shoots it right back. Astralis again, good team playing coordination.
Oh, and it goes from bad to worse for Mirage as now they've evened things out on Astralis' side. Forrest and J9 have time to go onto that discovery. Forrest will relocate as J9 goes onto drone to try and help the planter get the diffuser into the bomb site. These pesky corners down below on this thrown bomb site do require a good amount of guesswork if you don't have a drone, because there's so many angles where you look left and they're right, or the other way around. So pick your poison. There is still time to drone it out. There was that drone on the field. J9 still has both of his available, but they don't have a whole host of time. Only 10 seconds left. Soft destruction, hard destruction in spades. Mohesi watching. There's the drop, but Benji gets out-dueled by J9. Mohesi will need to clutch, but Forrest is the savior. And Astralis take 2 rounds of their own to tie the game. Maybe talk them back into the game. There are lots of times where it seems like teams will take a timeout to simply settle down their mental. Not always necessarily from a strategic standpoint. Yeah, you'll see the odd timeout where immediately the next lineup is just absolute chaos. That's exactly what happened in the Xset matchup against Parabellum, where Xset called their timeout and then brought, what was it? It was like Monty, Lion, Capitao, Ying, and Glaz, I believe, were the 5 ops that they rolled out last match. This time, nothing looks that weird from either of these lineups. These are pretty standard operators that we would see on Theme Park. Could just be simply settling down nerves.
I certainly think if I'm the coach of Mirage right now watching this, I would say, guys, we're getting the advantage, we're getting the lead, and we're throwing it away, right? We can lash out in the beginning, sure, but once we get to a stable position, let's fall back, play the trade game, play the bomb site, because when you're playing Armory Throne, as they just were, you can sit 4 guys in a corner each, you're vibing, but instead they were 3-man roaming with only 2 guys in the bomb site itself. Either way, both tech timeouts are done and dusted. DP5 with his nice drone there to gain information that Dexter was indeed spawn peeking. It's a good trade. 1 drone for 1 life is something that you definitely want to do. You can swing it all the way with your life or your head. You swing with a drone instead. That way you can keep yourself up on the ground. Shuttle missing the hatch. We've seen a couple of sledges today missing doors and hatches and whatnot. And sometimes with the hatch it can be intentional to bait out a C4 in case they were to try and do it. But either way, hatch got opened up with the second swing this time around.
Well, getting good information from it at least. This is a similar spot that we saw Mohesi playing off of at the top of those yellow stairs with smoke. You can waste a lot of time and deprive the attackers of very valuable map control with those toxic canisters, but also you can cover at a very close range with that shotgun and do extraordinary amounts of damage while having your back to that office initiation bomb site that typically is in play. Unfortunately for the Wamai, it looks like they will lose the deployable shield by Cafe, and there's already a smoke that's been tossed in. Logic bombs go out, and this could be the entry point for Astralis to get into the building. It certainly doesn't seem like it. Mohesi's been picked off, though, so the action might not be happening in front of our very eyes, but there's still some gunfire being exchanged, and Shuttle's taking control of Arcade Stairs. The kills are coming in fast and furious. I was a little bit behind the ball. Astralis trails in the fight. 3v2 featuring Mirage on top. Impacts will go in sailing over top of Forest. They know he's in there. He has no choice but to dive out. That leaves Iconic inside a Cafe. This rack corner, it's Melted, but Iconic drops just as Melted goes to aim. Unfortunate timing. That will not help Mirage at all. All that action sets us up with 1 minute to go. 2 players alive on both sides.
Yeah, both need to take a breather right now and figure out what the next approach is, because 2v2 is anyone's game right now. Attackers gotta gain information and defenders gotta figure out where to play at. This shield top arcade is a stronghold for them. It can't quite get cleared out. Forest has 1 Selma charge left. It's the only piece of utility they can use. Dexter and Benji are playing across the bomb site from each other. Whereas Iconic and Forest, they gotta try and play together, try and find that 2v1 if possible. We're into the site. We can plan if we want to, but the cover, it's hard.
Well, there's a Selma to go off. Iconic takes a bit of damage from it before he repositions. Forest almost has that diffuser down, but a nice shot on Dexter. Through the wall, down goes Forest. Diffuser surrendered. Iconic has to go, but he can't do it. Benji, for his trouble, takes out Iconic. No opportunity to pick up the diffuser, no opportunity for kills, and it's Mirage back on top.
Mirage playing that very much well together, right? The trades were there on point. They were moving on the map nicely. They weren't over-aggressively swinging, with the exception of Mo, who has just been playing like that throughout the entire game today so far. And it looks like the technical timeout might have been around playing more consolidated and playing more together, because that's what we saw just then and there. And good news, Mirage. Your final defending round is going to be on what a lot of people would argue is the strongest bombs on this map of Armory and Throne. And I would argue that, well, the first round was a flawless, so that was successful. But the last time they played it, on round number 4, it was that 4 versus 2, where Astralis, they came back and they clutched around. If Mirage, if they had played it a little bit differently, they likely would have found success. A 4-2 side is the ideal scenario for the defending team on Theme Park. That's Mirage right now. A 3-3 would not be the end of the world, but Astralis, given how slow of a start they had, they definitely will take that and be very happy with that, seeing as they're on the attack.
Final defensive round right now, and this is the 3rd time that we've seen Theme Park get played here in the North American League, so it's far too early for us to begin to say, oh, it's a very defender-sided map at this current point in the meta. I think with the shakeup that we've seen to the meta in particular, with Finka no longer being brought, LMGs being way out of the meta, and Twitch being brought right back in, that there has been quite a considerable shakeup. Attacker repick obviously still does tilt some of these bomb sites very heavily in favor of the attackers, as they can almost perfectly counter what we see from the defenders. That opportunity is not there for the defense. Once they pick their operators, they're locked in. Attacker's not the same case.
That's so unfair.
Oh my goodness. whine about fairness.
Yeah. Life isn't fair, I suppose.
Try to make it as fair as possible.
Yeah.
But again, a conversation for another day. Mirage had a great deal of success with Kento in this position over by Cash. Large part because Astralis did not check their corners. And again, my suspicion during that last time that we saw this was that Astralis actually did not drone out Mirage in that spot. And it certainly seemed like that was the case, given the fact that Kento got what was essentially a very free pick on a vault in from Astralis. Either way, this round has flown by. We are at the halfway point of the round. Everybody's still alive. No damage has been done. The only player who's taken even the slightest bit of damage was Melted. Dexter on the top of Arcade Stairs, really putting in work. Suddenly, Mirage have 3 kills to their name. Everybody falling for Astralis. J90 and Forrest, the last 2 alive. J90 zooms out at the wrong time. It was a flawless round to start this half. It's a flawless round to end this half. Mirage up 4-2.
Okay. Astralis, 2 things here. Mirage have to do a better job than Astralis on the attacking side for starters, but also Astralis on the defense, that's where the things can get lethal. If they manage to play like we know they usually do, where they play together and Iconic gets activated and they can play off one another, Mirage gotta show us some really precise attacking rounds. Now, Mo is the ideal of Mirage on the current roster. And when we saw Mirage attack yesterday, they were going for these very simple, very direct attacks with 5 members from one singular angle. I don't think that's going to work against Astralis because they're so good at shutting that down. I think you gotta spread out, do like a 3-2 split, or at the very least, have a lurker somewhere on the map with a 4-1 split. That means 4 members on one side of the map, let's say east side, and 1 member on the west or north side to kind of capitalize hammer anvil style. Because as you see right now, Astralis, they are spreading across the top floor, and they got mirror windows on the side down below as well. They got a setup that requires a delicate hand right now from Mo and Mirage to deal with.
Mira comes out. She was not banned. Nothing really all that strange. Mirage bringing the Buck and the Nomad, and a Thermite appears, so they very much like this lineup. I believe yesterday, Mohesi was rocking that same Thermite on their matchup, if memory serves me correctly.
I believe so.
First half, by the way, Astralis, not the greatest on the opening picks. Mirage led the way absolutely with 2 flawless rounds to boot. Astralis got the diffuser down on that lab bomb site back in round number 3, and both teams burned their timeouts. So there is no safety net for either of them. If things start to go from bad to worse, you have to hope for a tech pause. That's about it. That's really all you've got in your back pocket. Either way, very similar to what we saw out of the Alibi in the position next to Cash is none other than DP Fire playing in that spot. Yet to find a kill. Shuttle and DP Fire have not been able to get onto the scoreboard, but DP Fire does just that. He's got those fancy glasses on. J90 dies for Astralis, so both teams will trade out 1. Now it's Dexter to follow up, but Forrest is there. Astralis seemingly baiting Mirage into taking control of the top of Dragon. Mirage thinks it's free. It certainly is not. And Astralis comes out ahead in that first fight. Yeah,
that's what I mean when I say Astralis plays so well together. They had a triple man setup of coordinated play where they get a 2-for-1 trade. Everyone, well, very healthy. Forrest took like 1 bullet to his chest. That's about it. And what do you know? Astralis are now falling back and consolidating, doing what Mirage were not, and playing it safe and passive, playing in either pairs of 2 or having big pieces of utility like a mirror window to keep yourself safe. That's going to make sure that the numbers stay up, and Forrest finds another.
Well, you know the damage that thing can do. Forrest is playing for keeps at this exact moment. Kento to clutch out against 4 players from Astralis. A big task ahead of him. And potentially one of the worst spots to try to walk in from. A single doorway with lots of eyes on you. It doesn't even come to that. Top of Dragon is still in the control of Astralis, and that's where they net the final kill from. Astralis' very first defense proves to be successful. They close the gap, but Astralis have yet to lead in this matchup. They have only trailed or tied. They're going to need a couple more dominant rounds in order to turn the tides here against Mirage.
Absolutely. Nice, Justin Forrest played that position quite nicely, using the line of sight from the mirror window as well as a throne to take one-on-one gunfights, not be exposed to 2 angles at the same time. That is textbook Rainbow Six Siege anger play from him right there. And Forrest really has been a great pickup for Astralis, both on the attack and the defense. He just finds these openings that a typical support player does not. And often he finds himself in the middle of the bomb site out of nowhere and just finds a kill or two for the taking. Big fan of Mute here on this Bonk's bomb site is what Mirage was missing in my opinion. Mute has 4 jammers. There's basically 4 different walls, or 3 walls you can jam, and then the door to cafe or a staircase, for example, and you can like shut down a lot of drone routes for the attackers, and just of course those walls cannot be opened up. C4 being brought with the Mute as well for verticality reasons, and Forest bringing that mirror once again to help extend out around the map with those mirror windows. It's going to be Mirage again. They really need to problem solve these situations. I think the Dokkaebi and the Hibana here is a good alternative to this, or a good fix for it rather. You got the EMP grenades on Dokkaebi and a ranged Heartbreach, whereas the Thermite, well, it's a what we can call a melee Heartbreach. You got to get up on the wall. Hibana and Ace are ranged. You can do it from afar. That can help you clear out those windows at least.
Shuttle, the only player right now yet to find the scoreboard, and the fact that Astralis is keeping it as close as it is when DP Fire only has 1 kill and Shuttle has 0 is actually quite an impressive feat. But again, the story of Mirage is that they have taken several strides with this new roster, and even if they don't ultimately succeed against Astralis, this is a pretty good effort that they've put in thus far. And it's been a team effort, frankly, though. Yes. Can't exclude the fact that Dexter in particular has some very high impact kills that have almost single-handedly won the round for Mirage.
Well, the soft wall, the buck is. Nice line of sight being created, long angle at that. Hibana gonna start working out those walls. No jammer on these right now, so no EMP will be required to open them up. And this is where things need to change from Mirage. You need someone on this cafe door at some point in the round to apply that pressure. There's a member on the roof. Could be going for that later on. That's Benji on the Dokkaebi. Global gadget. Makes sense. Waiting for his time to strike.
He's still on drone work. Spots the Jaeger inside a cafe who had just closed the door, but might soon be opened yet again. Thatcher remaining unbanned means that you don't need those EMPs, as you said, so you can just run those pocket secondary EMPs, which is why Dokkaebi is being brought with such frequency. All that said, you don't really need it. A good medley of secondary gadgets for Mirage. They've got smokes, too. You just need to make sure that you're clearing out these ADSs before you can get them down. The defense continuing to put in good work. Shuttle, the very first pick with 45 seconds left, giving Astralis a little bit of breathing room. Can they follow up with Iconic engaging towards Arcade? No, they can't. J90 runs out as well, and suddenly Benji has a double, providing he can secure that kill onto Iconic. Down goes Shuttle to Dexter, who wants to barge into the bomb site. Will do just that, removing heads so effortlessly. It's DP Fire in a 1v3, a single kill to his name. He got it in the previous round. How many more can he add to the tally? Iconic bleeding out. DP Fire hears the case go down. He has to be spurred into action. He looks the wrong way. Suddenly, they get up off of the plant. A flash goes out. DP Fire has to wait a moment, engaging the gadget and walking right into the lion's den with a fatal bite from Dexter to stretch the lead of Mirage and deny Astralis a tie game, as Mirage is now 2 rounds away from sending this one home.
Dexter is just being unleashed right now. Legion on defense, Twitch on attack. He can do whatever he wants and take as many gunfights as he wants. But honestly, he's being quite smart about it, because he was waiting for the Dokkaebi opening before stampeding through the bombs. So you see it right here. The moment Benji walks up, that's when Dexter walks in. So even if Dexter falls in the initial gunfight, there's a trade right behind him. But he doesn't fail. He succeeds all 3 times in all 3 engagements and makes the round so much easier for his teammates in that 3v1 to establish a safe plant and then a post plant after that fact. Pro near diffuser, hold the door, easy as. Which team will get more clutches, Mirage or Astralis? To be fair, in this particular matchup, we haven't really seen a lot of clutch play per se.
That's correct.
But the J90 and Iconic round on the lab attack was as clutch as it can get, really, I think.
And I mean, it's quite defiant right there.
Quite defiant. I mean, Astralis is like the clutch team, so like I agree with these numbers.
Not defiant, not the correct word. Either way, quite dominant, we can say.
Okay.
Either way, Astralis comes out on top. 79% of you thinking that Astralis would have more clutches than Mirage, which I think is honestly a very fair shout. I don't think there's anything wrong with that based on historical precedent, but this is a very different Mirage roster than we've seen before, and we will continue to harp on that as it remains relevant. And right now it is particularly relevant As Astralis had struggles in Berlin, they were very open about it. They certainly did not look like the team that finished second at the Charlotte Major, dramatically underperforming a lot of expectations that the community and experts had thrust upon them, maybe somewhat unfairly. And now Astralis is having some serious issues as well, handling Mirage, a team that has finished towards the bottom, if not the bottom of the NAL for these past two stages. This team has injected new blood into their lineup, and the confidence that we see from Mirage, quite good. DP Fire engaged, and, well, Kento goes down to J90. Astralis gets yet another opening pick. What can they do with it? Can they push it to the limit and secure a round to keep this closer? Does Mirage move to match point?
That's the question. Mo works the wall angle here right now to throw. That is not the bomb site, of course. It's a lap situation instead, but this wall is in their path towards the bomb site. We get a double drone action there.
Both stopped at the exact same time to hop on drones. How convenient.
Synergy at its finest. Drones going out. It is clear indeed. So Mo will take the ground for him and his choosing, because you need to start working those angles. 1 minute 20 to go, and they gotta work 5 members of Astralis with multiple crossfires, verticality, and of course the bomb set itself. This is gonna be very difficult unless Mirage finds a flurry of kills somewhere in the next 20 seconds.
Well, and some of those phones ring from Shuttle holding above, who, by the way, has found 2 kills of his own to get onto the board. We do not have a killless player inside the server. Cause for celebration. Final minute in round number 9. Mirage want this match point. They haven't had a lot of match points in their career as a team. So to be able to get there and to do so against a team that has been so highly ranked in North America would be a massive achievement, especially for such a young roster. Shuttle just narrowly missing out on a silhouette, by the way, as he plays from above. Don't know if he can capitalize off of that or not. Melted taking some damage. Now it's Dexter's turn as well. Mirage getting rebuffed by this full lineup of Astralis, and now it looks like they're going to be cut down to size as Astralis nets 2 more kills to grow the advantage that they already had. Mohesi, Benji, can they accomplish anything together? 1 kill from Mohesi on a DP Fire, but that's all she wrote. Now it's Benji to clutch out. A vault on in, gives his position away, engaging the Warden. That's a kill onto Iconic, but he has very limited information and must retrieve the diffuser. A nice kill, but it could end up being impactless. Suddenly, Benji's got all the kills, and it's Shuttle to try and stop, but he'll have no problem making it there in time. Goodness.
Oh my God.
On the edge of your seat, it seemed like the impossible was about to unfold, but the impossible was the improbable, and ultimately did not come to pass. Astralis takes the round, and they're 1 away from tying it up.
That is an absolutely wild 4K or 3K on that with the DMR as well. I guess this was a 3K because Mo got this kill right here. We'll see it. This right here. Boom. Easy 1-tap. Boom. Easy 1-tap to the chest. Plan goes down with a second left. Was there more time on the clock there? Would have loved to see what Benji could have done had he had more options than to just stick the plan. But either way, it's a clutch to the defender. Shuttle with the SMG-11 suppressed weapon finds the final kill. Astralis, they're just 1 round behind Mirage. Gonna go upstairs now instead to the opposing bomb site to the east. That's going to be the office bomb site instead. This bomb site sees the least amount of play across most regions on Theme Park. It plays similar as to the west upstairs bomb site like bunks. You extend over to the opposite direction as you see on your screen right here. You try and hold cafe a little bit, try and hold top arcade. So it's pretty much like a mirrored but reversed bomb site of bunks. The only downside is that the cafe side is easier to hold upon than the cash side of things as the defending team. So that's typically why this bomb site doesn't get picked as often. So Mirage, they have a choice to make. East or west, which one is best? Seems to be a split take right now with 3 members on one and 2 on the other.
Security and cash will be a focus for at least 2 players from this Mirage squad if we are seeing the meta way of attacking this bomb site. Then you usually want to put one over towards arcade. The other 2 can just basically fluctuate depending on what they see out of this defense. And that's the discovery phase and what they can gain from the drones that will come on in. There's no mute on the board, so they don't have to worry too much about their drones being jammed, and no Mozzie as well. So outside of just simply shooting it, Mirage shouldn't have too much of a problem. They've got 8 of their 10 drones still available, and actually have a very good read on the Warden of DP Fire, but They don't count on the extra player over towards security. Selmas gets snagged by the magnet, but another should go onto the wall, opening up some of initiation. DP Fire still holding this position, but he has to watch for the drop inside of security while also watching the window for a vault in.
So bad for him. He's under a lot of pressure right now. Staircase, well, 3 angles to worry about. Stun comes out. Good luck, DP Fire. You need it.
But Shuttle still gets the first kill. Astralis have every single opening duel in their favor since moving to defense. Mirage storms the gate. They get rid of DP Fire, remove him from the position that he was in, and we're back to a 4v4. Diffuser will need to be picked back up. Don't know exactly who from Mirage is going to be the one to walk it into the bomb site, but a lot of hard destruction's already been done to give sight lines and stop Astralis from playing in these secure spots around the bomb chassis.
Yeah, they have. They got a minute to go. One more Selma chance and pocket of a Mo. They might have gotten what they wanted, but I'm not sure that's what they needed right now. I mean, they got Smokiness on Benji as well as those Oster shields, and that has to be the force they need to get into this bomb site, because getting past the bathroom doorway, you know, that's when the crossfires they get started right now. J9 involved is crucial in this position.
And he hasn't gone spotted, but yes, he does. Mohesi has the bead on him. 1 kill for him, another looking lined up. It's Benji holding on to that diffuser. Still quite a ways away from being able to walk in and get it down. Mohesi finished off by an impact, tossed out by Shuttle. Things are so messy at this moment. Iconic botches a smoke. The second one will connect, doing a bit of chip damage to Dexter. Benji attempts a plant, falls off. Astralis boxed out of this bomb site, but still doing some serious damage. Down goes Dexter. The scramble from above. Benji doesn't have good information as to where they are. Finds one. A second for Benji. He's had some moments of brilliance. Both he and Melton now to try and find Iconic. Waste time. That's all you got to do. But Iconic is there. Ice in his veins. But again, the clutch just falls short. Benji gets it at the last moment, and Mirage moved to match point.
That's going to feel bad for Iconic. He had the perfect read on the position of both members of Mirage, but could not land that final shot he needed. And I'm sure someone in the chat's going to say, oh, he was 1 HP. Without the suppressor, he gets that kill. And I'm sorry to break it to you. Suppressors have been buffed. They no longer reduce the damage that you output with your weapon. That right there was just a very close 1 versus 1, where Benji got away with a single HP, basically. One more bullet should have finished the deal. But one more, well, it's close, but it's not close enough. Benji wins the round for his team. You see right here, 0.5 seconds left when the planet went down. And Benji actually had a fair bit of health left. It seems like Iconic might have missed more shots than I thought. But either way, match point for Mirage, 6-4. And Astralis, they go downstairs to Armory, where they were victorious the last time they defended this bomb site.
My. What a thrilling round that was for Mirage. And
thrilling match,
I mean,
to be honest.
Go back to last stage, and you would think, okay, this should be a walk in the park for Astralis.
Absolutely.
Pretty easy. With the way that they played, with the way that Mirage played, go back to stage 1, same thinking applies here, but variances in the way teams play maps, variances in the operators that come in, changes to certain operators, and most importantly, roster swaps can make a whole host of difference. A team can just pick up one player and it can elevate them from towards the bottom of the standings all the way up to the top. Mirage seemingly quite comfortable. You have 3 players that have broken double digits.
Yep.
That's almost a single kill a round for Dexter, Melted, and Benji, which, as you and I have talked about before, is very challenging to do.
Absolutely, it is. Having 3 people break double digits on a 6-4 scoreline is not super common in this case. And I mean, Kento is on 5 and Mohesi is on 5 as well. They're not that far behind. Everyone's really putting in the work.
Neither of these players are in the basement. 5 and 7 is not a great scoreline, but it's not terrible. And 5 and 6 on your IGL and main support is also a pretty good scoreline to have.
Certainly.
So this Mirage team seems to be quite well balanced, and there's been a lot of doubt thrown the way of Benji and how he's stuck around on this roster, despite the fact that he has trailed some of his teammates in terms of stats. But I gotta say, Benji is making this a statement match and has had some very good opportunities. Now Dexter's gonna get jumped on from 2 separate angles. Can they come to his rescue? He gets it down and is secure.
No way.
They're tossing all these impacts, but he's dancing around them. Good God, Dexter, what the hell is that? And it's a 4v2 for Mirage, half of the round to go. Mohesi with the diffuser planting, and the Astralis team will have to get back into the bomb site. They've completely given up control. What can they accomplish? They're boxed out of their own site at the moment. the diffuser working against them. And Astralis might have just lost the plot on this match, unless they can pull off some heroics. And we've seen it before from Astralis, but there's too much work to be done, and Dexter makes it even more challenging for them. Shuttle a single kill onto Dexter, that's the raid boss of the round, but Mirage has so many more